Alice was furious to know that Merlin spent all of her savings on the horse race. After a while, Merlin said to Hobbs that just because he bet 50,000 coins on Richard, Alice kicked him out of the house. But Hobbs tells him that he should feel lucky that he is even alive after doing that. Carl was with them too, who was more depressed than Merlin. He cried and told them that his daughter has fallen in love with the Elgin's master swordsman. He added that his daughter has become completely obsessed with him. Carl wanted to kill him, but Hobbs tells him to calm down, because according to the rumors, the sword master can easily slay saint-ranked enemies with ease. Merlin sighed and thought if only he could kill the sword master to rid him of his curse. Suddenly, Alice entered the guild and looked away from Merlin. Hobbs taunts Merlin to become strong soon, or Alice will leave him for some other man. Luja was so excited to know that Alice has met with the Elgin's master swordsman. But Alice mentioned that she didn't get a good look at his face. However, she believes that he's a very kind person. Suddenly, the communication crystal lights up. A woman announced that a few moments ago, an official of the Empire found out who the sword master of Elgin is. This shocked everyone in the guild. After a while, in the capital of Britain, Queen Elizabeth came to announce the identity of the Elgin's master swordsman. She announced that even though they sought to capture and arrest him after he destroyed thousands of Empire's ships, however, from today onwards, she pardoned his crimes and forgive him. Many days ago, Macefield informed the Queen that because of her failure, she wanted to resign from her position and want to be a commoner. She remembered Merlin's words and understands that his power has no limits. But Elizabeth refused to her request and gave her a chance to redeem herself. She ordered her to put on an act as she will forge a new swordsman of Elgin, who belongs to the Empire. Back at present, Hobbs was confused and said that Queen Elizabeth is infamous for ruling with an iron fist, so why is she letting him off that easily? Elizabeth then asked the Elgin's master swordsman to come forward and reveal his identity. A man who looks like the swordsman came forward. He then removed his disguise and announced that he's Luke Offer of the Offer family. The crowd, who were cheering for the swordmaster, suddenly gets silent. Luja, who is in love with him, lost interest instantly. The crowd calls him a fake, because there's no way the eldest son of the Offer family is the swordmaster. Luke then bowed in front of the queen, and asked for her permission to prove his identity to the people. He said that he wants to duel the two saint-ranked Redbud Knights. The people who gathered there couldn't believe that he really was challenging two of the Redbud Knights. The 5th Knight Milius and the 11th Knight Winifred came forward to duel against him. Luke announced that he doesn't wish to hurt the knights, so he will be using a wooden sword for the duel. But as soon as the battle started, a blast occurred on the battlefield. And from inside the smoke, both knights came flying and accepted their defeat. The crowd starts cheering for Luke and believe that he truly is the Elgin's master swordsman. Luke then said that the reason why he looks different from everyone's expectations is because, recently, he was placed under a curse that altered his appearance. And once he finds a way to break the curse, he will revert back to his handsome self. After hearing his words, Luja started to love him again. Luke added that no matter how he looks on the outside, he's still the mysterious hero, and he will always be their guardian angel. And while the members of the guild were praising Luke, Alice remembered the scene from the past and imagined that the swordmaster is Merlin. But she denied her imagination and thought she must be seeing Merlin because of the hangover. Merlin said that all he did was blow away two Redbud Knights, even his sword slash can do that. Alice replied that even though his sword slash is powerful, but the swordmaster is still stronger than him. This made Merlin unhappy. Elizabeth then announced that from today onwards, the swordmaster of Elgin will officially join the Redbud Knights. She added that he will tour the Empire's vast territories so that all its inhabitants can bask in his glory. This made Luja happy as now she will be able to meet him. But Merlin and Carl both were thinking of defeating the Elgin's master swordsman. At the same time, Milius was so angry as he had to play along with that farce. Morrison was also there, wondering why did the Queen summon them there. Milius said that it must be to protect that imposter. Morrison suggests Macefield to stop this acting and try to get on good terms with the real sword master. Macefield replied that she already discussed this with the Queen, but she still decided on this course of action. She explained that the imposter is just the first step of her plan. Her real goal is to bait out the real sword master so that the legendary Imperial Gold-ranked magician can eliminate him. Morrison gets angry and said that what they are doing is too underhanded. But Macefield tells him to calm down and said they are Her Majesty's knight, so they have to follow her every order. Suddenly, Luke entered and asked how are they feeling after watching his performance earlier. This angered Milius, and he warned him to watch what he says. But Luke went close to him and insulted him, saying that he is the Elgin's master swordsman, so he should watch his tone. Milius was about to kill Luke, but he was stopped by Macefield. Luke said that from tomorrow, he's going to start his tour, so he ordered everyone to make sure nothing happens to him, or they will suffer severely for it. Meanwhile, in Castle Mountains, a girl was looking for her lover, the demonic Glory Guild Master Swinburne. After searching for a while, all she found was his arm. Angered, she swore to kill his murderer in the most painful way imaginable. After half a month, everything proceeded according to the Queen's plan. The legendary hero of the Empire slowly became widely acknowledged. He reached an unprecedented level of fame. Also, Alice is now able to control the power of the crystal slightly. She thought, if she put in a little more effort, she can become independent from that perverted Demon King. She then decided to try out her master's move. At the same time, Merlin was on a tree, wondering what that washboard is doing. Alice combined her magic and combat aura and finally did it. She happily tells Merlin that this is a secret technique of the Great Snowy Mountains martial magics. But Merlin insulted her and said only someone weak would be impressed with something so meager. This angered Alice, and she challenged him to a duel. And as soon as the battle began, she used her technique to attack Merlin with her magical swords. Merlin was confident and insulted her again, saying she forgot about his magic immunity. But one sword manages to cut his hair, so he quickly cut all the magic swords. Alice gets happy as her attack was not bad, but only to be defeated by Merlin the next second. Merlin glanced at the sword's remnants and thought even his magic immunity wasn't able to negate that attack completely. And while they were returning from the training, Merlin said to Alice that her teacher must have been very strong. Alice agreed and said even though her teacher was abandoned by everyone, she was still her respected teacher. Suddenly, Luja came running to Alice and tells her that the Elgin's master swordsman is coming to Wrexham next. After a while, everyone in the town gathered to catch a glimpse of the legendary swordsman. Luja said that even though he's not handsome, he still radiates glory. Macefield was worried because she was not sure if the magician Gregory will be able to defeat the real swordsman or not. At the same time, the magician was thinking of inviting the Elgin's master swordsman to join his guild. The same girl from before angrily looked at Luke and said she finally found him, the one who killed her beloved. Suddenly, Carl appeared in front of Luke and challenged him to a duel. Luja and Alice were too shocked to see him challenging the sword master. Merlin thought that even though he's weak, he's got guts. Luke was confused and looked at Redbud Knights, but they looked away from him. Luke then said to Carl if he really wants to fight him, then first he must prove himself by defeating the Redbud Knights. Macefield was thinking of a solution to handle the situation, when Morrison came forward and accepted Carl's challenge. Both Carl and Morrison released their aura and dashed toward each other, but before their fists could meet, a black hole appeared in between them. The black hole sucked their aura and stopped the fight. Merlin realized that it's spatial magic and thought it is interesting. Gregory came forward and asked Carl if he want to cause an even bigger ruckus. Everyone got shocked and wondered why is there a legendary magician in their town. The girl clicked her teeth and thought now that Gregory is here, so she will need to find another time to strike. At night, Taylor was thanking Gregory to stop his idiot son Carl. He then asked him why is he helping as a guard after being retired for so long. Gregory replied that he owed the previous emperor a favor, so he is just helping his descendant and it's just a one-time thing. Taylor said that soon his guild will defeat Gregory's guild and become the top guild in the empire. He pointed at the couple and said that those lovebirds are his guild's newcomers. Gregory praised Alice to attain saint rank at such a young age, but he can't sense any magic or combat aura from Merlin and said he seems ordinary. But Taylor laughed and said he'd bet anything that Merlin will soon take his guild to the top. Merlin looked at Gregory and said that his black hole magic is a little strange. Alice agreed and said that his black hole magic can kill opponents with ease and block all forms of attacks. And as Merlin was talking about killing him, Alice said that he saved her life once, so he should show him a little respect. But Merlin asked why, because he could defeat him in one slash. Alice wondered why Merlin is so competitive today. She then asked him if he's jealous of the sword master because she went to see him. But Merlin insulted her and said that there's no way He'd be jealous, and he's not interested in a washboard. Angered, Alice tells him to sleep on the streets today as well and left. She was going home, thinking that Elgin's master swordsman is so much better than Merlin. Suddenly, she was stopped by a man who said that his master, Luke Offer, wishes to see her. Alice was shocked to know that the sword master wants to see her. She was not interested at first, but after remembering Merlin's insult, she agreed to go with him. She reached the place, and the man tells her to wait for the sword master. Luke entered and said he saw her in the crowd today. She stood from the rest of the common rabble. Alice asked why exactly did he wish to meet her. Luke replied when he looked in her direction. He noticed her beauty right away. He was looking at Alice with eyes full of lust. Alice thanked him for saving her life before, to which Luke tells her to not worry, as he doesn't remember how many lives he has saved already. And while Alice was thinking of what she should ask him, Luke grabbed her and pulled towards him. He said they can take their time, as they have plenty of time tonight. At the same time, Merlin was enjoying in a pub with his friends. He said that just because he can't go home doesn't mean he doesn't have a place to pass the night. Hobbs said that they are still a young couple, so if he just buys Alice a present and apologizes, it will be fine. Suddenly, Helena came and informed Merlin that Alice is in the top tavern in the city. Merlin wondered what Alice is doing at a tavern. But Hobbs tells Merlin that he should be worried because the sword master is staying at that tavern. And according to what he has heard, the men of the Offer family are fans of women with small breasts, so Alice is a prime target for them. After hearing that, Merlin stood up and ran to save Alice. At the same time, Luke pushed Alice and said he has fallen in love with her. He added that her personality, her physique, they are all beautiful to him, especially those mesmerizing small breasts of hers. Alice tried to stop him, but Luke was forcing himself on her. His hand reached her thigh, but then Alice kicked him and threw him away. She said she held him in such high esteem, but she never thought he was this type of person. She added that he's a huge disappointment and left. And while she was running back home, she collided with someone and fell to the ground. That someone is none other than Merlin, who said that she made him worry about her. Alice asked why is he there, to which Merlin replied that he's just strolling. Alice smiled and tells him to go home with her. Meanwhile, Luke was on the ground, crying in pain. He then swore to make Alice pay for humiliating him. He ordered his subordinate to summon the Redbud Knight, but suddenly his subordinate gets killed by someone. The girl came forward and said, "Finally found you, Sword Master." She said that for killing her beloved and ruining the demonic glory, she will kill him. But before she could kill Luke, Macefield came and saved him. The woman quickly used teleportation magic and promised to come back again before leaving. Luke then threw a bottle on her face and called her useless. She bowed in front of him and promised to protect him at all costs. After a while, she explained the situation to the other knights and ordered them to double the security, as she has a bad feeling about this. The next morning, Alice came to wake Merlin with a knife in her hands. She then asked him to taste the breakfast, as she has been practicing secretly. Merlin asked her if she's not going to meet the fatty sword master. But Alice angrily said that he's an even lower tier of trash than Merlin, and he doesn't deserve to be alive. Merlin then informed Alice that there's something he need to do and left. After a while, Luke was leaving Wrexham, when the same woman was looking at him from afar. After 4 days, Luke and his group arrived at the town of Crewsum, the last stop of their tour. The people have gathered and were cheering for the legendary sword master. Even though Luke was acting brave, he wants to finish quickly, or he might die at this rate. Henry was also there in the crowd, and was a big fan of the Elgin's master swordsman. Macefield was on guard, but was not sensing anything out of the ordinary. But suddenly, a magic circle appeared and sealed Luke and some people inside a barrier. And that's it. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, subscribe.